Hi everyone, welcome back. And in this video, I wanted to give you some information on SOP, which is also called as a statement of purpose. So this video is for anyone who wants to pursue their studies abroad. So in that case, you would have heard people talking about a statement of purpose. It's a document that you need to produce to the universities. So if you don't have no idea what the statement of purpose is and how do you write one down, then I'll be explaining that to you in this video. So let's get into it. So what is this SOP, also called as statement of purpose? So there can be different reasons why people enter a country to do. They say that they want to do studies, but their intentions can kind of be for legal or for illegal stuff. Okay, so universities also get applications from so many students from different parts of the world. So there needs to be some way that they can really assess your profile, your background, what are your intentions, what is the reason you want to pursue a particular course, and why particularly at their university and why in a certain country. So in for universities, they don't have the time to kind of have a face-to-face conversation to understand your profile and your aspirations. So it's this statement of purpose, this document that you produce, and the universities get a flavor or an idea of what your background is and what are your intentions for pursuing a particular course and what are your career aspirations and the path you want to take. So that's the reason you have to produce this statement of purpose, and it is also used for the visa department in order to assess your genuinity as to whether you're really genuine enough, whether genuinely you want to pursue a higher study or any studies in a particular country. And this is something that they would check in order to issue a visa for you. So let's get into it. So what are the details that is required for an SOP? Okay, it's document with different sections. Okay, so I'll be explaining to you what are the different sections that you can have in your SOP and what each section needs to consist of. So the very first section is just an introduction about yourself. So that's the section where you have to introduce yourself and just a highlight. You don't have to go very much in detail. Maybe information about the place you're coming from and what is your age, your marital status, things like that. The second section is going to be your academic section. So this is the section you need to detail out is your academic background, your academics that you have completed till date, the duration of your each course, and the percentage that you secured for every course that you completed. So you need to even mention which college you in university did you pursue those particular courses, and that's I think pretty much what you can have in your academic section. The next section is your work experience. Okay, so you have your work experience. So if at all you have completed your university long back, you have some experience at work, that's where you need to mention your work experience. So you need to mention the different companies that you have worked at, the duration of your each working status, and what was the role you played, what were the roles and responsibilities you had, what was your designation, and what were the different achievements you probably did. So it needs to be really crisp. Don't just make it like kind of a big story. Make sure that this SOP it has like 6 to 7 or probably 8 sides. But the more crisp it is, the more better it is because universities get to read it. So keep that in mind, and you can kind of form each section up. So that's pretty much about the work experience section. The next one is why a particular degree. So let's say you want to do a master's. So you need to give them a real clear cut idea as to why do you want to pursue a master's. Okay, so based on this, so in this section you need to mention, for example, you have some work experience and then you want to upskill yourself, you want to upgrade your knowledge, and that's why you want to do a master's, or it can be for promotions. And you can be really open enough. Many people, they say that they need a promotion, so that's why they want to pursue a higher studies, and that's totally fine. But you just need to genuinely mention what is the reason that you want to pursue a particular degree. It can be a bachelor's or a master's also, it depends. But that's all you have to mention in the next section, which is why masters. The next section is the universities considered. So once you know that you set foot on or set path on for a particular degree, let's say for masters, you definitely would have considered universities. So in this section, which is universities considered, you need to mention what where the universities you considered. So now listen to this very carefully. So in this section, universities want to know, and also the visa department, they want to know why did you choose a particular university. So there are a couple of great universities depending on what course you want to choose. There are universities that offer similar courses, and these universities can be from different countries. So let's say for example you have the US offering courses, you have the UK, Canada, you have Australia, and you have different countries offering courses. So if at all you choose one country, let's say for example Canada, so you need to mention what were the universities you considered, and finally why did you drill down to a particular university in a particular country. Okay, so you need to mention why not in your own country. So first of all, before you pursuing a particular course in a different country, you need to first justify why didn't you take up that particular course at your country. So you can mention reasons, and these reasons can be different. Okay, for example, there isn't a course like that in your country, so that's why you had to look out for other universities in other countries. Sometimes the course structure that you're looking for may not be available, so that's why you opted for other universities that have the exact course structure that you're looking for. Also, a duration can be a criteria. For example, if you see the UK, they have 1 year of masters, whereas other countries like the US, Australia, and stuff, they have 2 years of masters. So there are different reasons why you choose universities. So you need to be really crisp and precise as to why are you choosing a particular university, and you also need to mention why are you not pursuing that course in the current country that you are in. Okay, so make sure that you explain this very clearly. The next one is why not other countries. So let's say you already have the option that it's not available in your country, so you would look out for other countries. Okay, so let's say for example you have checked out Australia, you have checked out UK. So but you find that the course is not available, or suddenly that you need to really mention. So the main idea over here is that you need to mention what was the main reason that you discarded other countries. Okay, so first is why not your country, and the second one is why not other countries. Okay, so certain people, they are very genuine enough, and they say that for example Canada is, the climate is outrageously really cold, so people cannot stand that climate, they cannot adapt to that climate. Some people are really genuine enough, they say that for example the US, stuff like that, the courses are really expensive and not very friendly and affordable. So you need to be really genuine enough and mention why did you discard certain countries, why did you discard certain universities, and give the reason why did you choose a particular university. And you can be really open enough, they're not going to kind of discriminate you, they're not kind of reject you based on these reasons. All they need to know is why did you specifically not consider, or why did you consider that, or haven't you considered it. They just want to check whether you have gone through everything and that you have really fixed on a particular course in a particular country. And the next one is finally why you choose the particular country. So let's say for example you have chosen the US, so you need to justify why did you choose the US for pursuing your studies. Okay, and you, in this particular section, you need to mention all the advantages. It can be for multiple reasons, because of the opportunities, the college that you selected is great, it has great facilities, it has different options for international students, safety, stuff like that. You need to mention all that over there, as to why did you choose a particular country to pursue your studies. And once you've justified that, the next section is why a particular university. So once you have justified that what was the reason of you choosing a particular country, the next section you need to justify as to why did you choose a particular university. Okay, so in this section you need to mention why that particular university. So as I said, it can be the exposure, the facilities that the university is offering, the staff, the quality of education, the curriculum, the course that they offer, and internships, work integrated learning, stuff like that. So you can mention all the advantages, even fees, scholarships, all these great perks and advantages you can mention and justify as these are the reasons why I chose this particular university. Okay, so once you have justified the university that you were fixed on, the next one is you need to mention details about the course structure. So in this way, they know that you have gone through the course structure and you're really aware of what you're going to be studying and how many units are there, how many papers and semesters, and you have credit points, stuff like that. So in that way, they know that you're really keen and you're very much aware of what the structure looks like for that particular course. And the next one that you need to even mention is what is the course outcome. So every course has an outcome, okay? So if you're taking, let's say for example, some business analytics course, it does have an outcome. For example, you can become a business analyst, you can become a probably data analyst, stuff like that. So every course has an outcome. So in the course outcome section, you need to mention what is the course outcome and how does that match with your career line. Okay, so if at all you're a business analyst and you're taking on business analytics, you need to justify and mention what is the business outcome the course offers and how is that aligned with your career path. Also, all they need to know is whether you're really pursuing a studies which is really aligned with your work experience and with your background, and you're not just taking some random course unless you have a strong justification for a switch of path or course. Okay, so the next section is the course outcome. So you can always get details of the course outcome, the course structure, information about the university. They have their website. So those are places where you can extract those informations and you can mention it. Try not to copy paste things, but just make everything really customized and personalized. Okay, and the next section is coming to the accommodation. So obviously you're moving to a different country to pursue your studies. So the countries, they want to make sure that you're self-sufficient, you're able to support your living expense, you're able to support your, for example, travel. So if at all you finish your studies, you need to have the amount to even travel back. Also, you need to have sufficient amount for your studies, for your fees and stuff like that. So you need to mention in your accommodation details where you would be staying, and you need to mention that you have the appropriate information as to what are all the different accommodation options, how much each accommodation costs. All these you need to mention in the accommodation section. And the next one is the study fees and expenses. So I said in they need to make sure that you're really sufficient, self-sufficient, and you have all your expenses and the fees amount covered. So in the study fees and expenses, you need to, it depends on certain countries and what are their requirements. So you need to mention that you have sufficient funds for your fees, you have funds for your living expense. So usually sometimes they expect you to show 1 year of living expense, and also you need to mention that you have sufficient money for your insurance. So if you are a student, you need to take up a health insurance. So you should have amount to secure and to acquire a health insurance as well. And also you need to mention that you're having the full amount for your entire fees. So now this amount you can kind of show it in any way. So generally your parents or the immediate family line can be sponsors as well. So it can be your parents, your maternal or paternal uncle, or at the max your siblings. So extended families usually they do not encourage, and it's hard to for them even to sponsor. So even parents and siblings, and as I said, maternal or paternal uncles can be sponsors. So even if they have bank balances and amount, you can say that they would be sponsoring half or probably all of your expenses. You can show your bank balance, the amount of personal savings that you have, the savings of your parents, siblings, stuff like that. And it needs to be really genuine. Make sure that if you're showing this amount, when you have to apply for your visa, you need to show proofs of all these incomes and source of these incomes. So it can be pay slips, it can be your ITRs, it can be your probably your e-bank statements that you need to submit. And if at all you have any assets, you can even mention about all that. And you can mention that the sum of all that amount is going to equal to whatever like expenses you can cover, and that you really have the expenses covered, and you're able to support your entire stay and studies at that particular country. So this is a really important section, so make sure you have all the details put down, because they even need to know that you have good intentions to study, but they need to make sure that you have all your expenses covered and you're not going to be left stranded. And the next section is if at all you have any members on in that particular country, on the onshore family members, so you need to mention any relationships with onshore family members as well. Okay, so if at all you do have anyone, you can even mention that in this particular section. And the next one is you need to mention personal ties to home countries. So usually people they feel that when people go to study, they tend to get a PR and settle down in that country. But everyone knows it, but you need to really prove to the department and the government saying that you're just going for studies. Okay, so you need to mention what are the personal ties you have to your home country. So you need to mention that you would be pursuing your studies, but after your studies you would be coming back to your home country because you would get jobs at bigger positions, you'll be getting a better pay scale, you have a family to take care of, you have assets to take care of, things like that. So you can mention certain things like this as to what are the personal ties you have to your home country, and after you complete your studies you will be returning back to your home country. And the next section is you have immigration history. So you need to mention if you have traveled anywhere or if you have got any visas that have been rejected, stuff like that. You need to disclose it. Make sure you don't provide any fraudulent information, or you don't hide any information, because if they come to know, and it's very easy for them to come to know, if at all you get if they find out, they're going to blacklist you, and sometimes you would not be able to travel to any country for 3 to 5 years, depends on what intensity of the fraudulent information that you have provided. So make sure that you're providing all details well. And the last section is the conclusion, which is you need to thank the university for offering you an offer, and why would you want to really get into that university, and just thank them saying that you are looking forward for a positive response. So this is pretty much what an SOP is and what you need to include in SOPs. So there are different templates, different formats and stuff like that. So as I said, you can follow anything, but make sure that all the information is precise, up to the mark, and all information is genuine and right, because you don't want to really get caught with any fraudulent information. So I hope that you got some information on what an SOP is and why do you use it and what information you need to include in it. So if you found this helpful, please do give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to this channel, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.